Hey guys, welcome back. We're just going to get straight into it. What we've got for today is figuring out plans for the rear axle and getting this front suspension braced up and finished up. You'll see there that there's some super long studs on those hubs, so we're going to explain that now. So if you look at this, what you might be saying is, hey, this is really stupid. And honestly, we both agree with you. But here's my rebuttal. My thought currently is to take this tube, make collars for it, and then weld between them so that it can at least be more weight bearing than just some long ass studs. And obviously we need a way to put a face on that. Now you might be asking, why did we get such a short axle? To be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to be this short when I first got it. I didn't realize that 29 inches was the length of the entire axle. I thought it was, for some reason, the mounting points for the bearings. It worked out that we needed to get a 29 inch anyways, because I wanted to use this main structure right here for the bearing mounts. So if we can make this work, then we're going to run it, and if not, it can probably go into something different maybe later down the road. So we didn't really show much other than the time lapse, but as for what we got done today, we got this upper bash bar started. We'll show you once this is on the ground what that's going to look like. And then we got the axle mounted. I know it's not spinning really well now, but it's just because this seat rubs just a little bit on the axle. And we didn't get to everything that we wanted to today, so we're going to pick this up tomorrow, and let's show you this on the ground and see what it looks like. Alright, so for this bash bar, what we're kind of thinking, originally this was going to be part of the bracing. We were just going to have it connect up to here, but we did also want to do kind of a little bash bar thing. So we're going to use this as the brace and try to keep this parallel to this, and then I think that'll look pretty cool right there, and it'll be some extra support, which I feel like we'll need it everywhere we can. So we'll do it to the same on that side, and then when we get a chance, do another brace from here to this corner, tie everything together, and then as for the vertical, we've got to do something like this, have it come up here, probably a support coming from over here up to here, same on that side, and then have a flat piece going over the steering wheel, connecting back over to here, so it's kind of like a sway bar, even though it's, you know, static or stationary. And then for the rear, I just have the plates tacked on right now, but we're going to brace this across each plate to have a bunch more rigidity, and then we still have to get the engine placement. My current idea is to take my old mini bike frame, which that engine came off of, and more or less just cut the pipes off and figure out how to notch this piece of stock that was a part of the original frame and then weld it in place so we have a nice strong engine mount, and then we can tie everything together back here. Realistically, the engine will probably sit right here, so it's not going to be too much longer, but I think the weight distribution is actually going to be pretty decent. First, we're going to start with taking the axle off. Alright, so I got the plate cut. I also had to cut off this little tow hitch thing right there. That was annoying. Now we're gonna weld between here and here, and then I'll throw some tacks on this side and then flip it over and complete the weld. Right, so I got the back, this piece cut and welded. It's welded here, there, completely underneath. And I finished these welds out. The back, for now, is okay. And then in the front, I got the support done, the upper support on and fully welded. I even braced it to this plate right here. I'm not gonna show you the welds because they look fucking awful. That's on. I still have yet to throw that side on and do that. I mean, those are just tacks, so they're not really doing anything anyways, but I'm sorry for the lack of commentary in the past couple clips, but it's probably going to be the same for me today. I'm probably just going to set up a time lapse and I'll just fill you guys in once I get some work done, just because there's so much time in between getting things done that I feel like it's not useful to just show minimal needless information. Alright, so this is what I've got kind of mocked up right now. This right here, as you've seen in the other clips, used to be part of that mini bike frame, which this engine came off of. It's got the same bolt pattern as a Predator 212, so we can upgrade down the line. Still don't know if this is going to work. I can start it up and it will run and it sounds okay, but the last time I used it on the mini bike, it acted like I blew a piston ring or something. There was no compression and it shot out a bunch of smoke, so that means it was burning a bunch of oil. So we'll see what happens with that engine, but at least we have something to mock up. Right now, I've got it clamped right there, so long as the chain is straight with the clutch, which as you can see, it isn't really. That's kind of the idea, is have it like that. The thing that sucks about this engine is that the exhaust is facing the wrong way. So it was even like that on the mini bike where the exhaust is shooting forward. So I'm gonna have to come up with our own exhaust for that, which will be kind of fun, I think. Probably just a piece of flat bar and then tubing just out. That's gonna be the main idea. Hopefully it works out. this way. Look at this. Look at that monster. Does kind of look weird, but even shifter carts, like half the time I'll see shifter carts where the engine is right to the right or the left of somebody and it's still lopsided, so I think we're still in good shape. One of the plans for some cosmetics is to probably build off of this and then come up and probably put up a spoiler right here. It's a big fat wang, just to be obnoxious, but you know, I think it'll also throw it together a little bit more if we had, you know, a spoiler right here, so it ends right where the engine ends, so it kind of flows a little bit better. But once we get this on there, then we can start doing brakes, pedals, and actually test driving so that we can finish welding this out. Alright guys, let's just touch on a couple things that I've got done here. So far, I've got the engine mount tacked on. One side is like almost completely welded. So, and then I went and I bought a chain breaker, got the chain to its size, and now what we have to do is get the chain tensioner all hooked up, get this in a place. If you guys see a problem with this, just let me know down in the comments, but my current idea or my logic behind putting it this way is to put it here, right? Because the engine spins this way, so it's pulling from this side, so this side is already going to have tension. So if I put the tensioner there, this sprocket that's going to be pulling this side of the chain will have tension and will not come off, because it can't really come off right now. Like it's not naturally just going to fall off. But not only is this a new chain and it's going to stretch, but just with how loose it is, the deflection is 5 inches. That just won't work on pretty much any setup. My mini bike had a pretty bad tensioning problem, so I already know go about it. Oh yeah, you can see right here, I can take it fully off of the sprocket and just move the wheel and it'll come off. So chain needs to get tensioned, and then we're finally going to move on to putting the pedals on. But before we can put the pedals on, we got to get the brake caliper mounted. Alright guys, so got the tensioner on and pretty tight. Flexion is, I don't know man, it might be a little too tight honestly, but we're just gonna run it. The good thing is, like I said, this is a brand new chain, so it's gonna stretch a little bit, so hopefully with how tight now, I mean, like I said, the deflection is probably like 1/4 inch, so hopefully that stretches to at least 1/2 inch, which is what it's supposed to be normally. I still have to drill 2 more holes. I couldn't really mark the holes, so I gotta figure that out. All right, so now we're on to brakes. Once we can get the brakes on, pedals, throttle cable, test drive. I've got this plate that you've seen in the time lapse. I drilled out on the drill press. It works really well. got a lot done today. I'm very happy at the point that we're at now. We've got chain done. We've got the caliper mounted and the brake pedal system worked out. That actually took a while to figure out. Had to come up with something, but the drill press came in very handy. So I've got a plate and I made this sleeve, and then I drilled a hole, the outer diameter of that sleeve, and I pressed it in there, and then I welded it on this side. And then the bolt that comes through here, this has a lock nut on there, so you can still move around and everything, but there's that. And then the washer isn't in the right spot, but I also drilled a hole for that, for this return spring. Had to drill this hole a little bit bigger to fit that bolt. And then I also had to drill that hole a little bit bigger to fit this pin and cotter pin. And then just another plate there, hole, spaced it off so that I can still take off that banjo fitting. We have fully functional brakes. I wish there was a little bit more pedal movement. It really only moves like half an inch, but it does lock up the wheels. And this is not done yet. All this is tacked. This is fully welded out just on this side. I want to at least try to get some welds on the other side of it, and then triangulate to this, and then probably gusset or triangulate that somehow as well, because there is a little bit of side-to-side movement there. This actually is already pretty strong, so, but a little bit of added support would definitely not hurt anything. And as for this bracket is fully welded on both sides, on the top and bottom, but I do need to triangulate this end right here back over to here, just so that this brake can actually stop, you know, like 250 pounds worth of weight, because I mean, this by itself is getting up there. I'm sure by the time it's done, it's going to be well over 100 pounds, and then adding me is around 250. Just stopping the wheels with the wheels spinning freely, I could see the deflection. When I would lock up the brakes, it would go forward a little bit. So if I triangulate that, that'll be real nice and strong. I'll have confidence in that, because I want to get it done the right way the first time. Brakes are important. Duh. But my phone is running out of storage, so this is where I'm going to stop for today. We made a lot of progress in this one. This is kind of what I've been hoping for, is to have longer videos, even though I haven't been doing really a good job at commentating the whole time, but hopefully you can get the gist through the time lapses and a little bit of deliberation in between. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.